Randy Travis.
All right, that was the song. It's the first time you guys have heard it. And so I want to ask Randy's AI a couple questions, which is really interesting here. So as someone who was given the gift to sing, had it taken away, and now that's been returned with the help of AI, Randy, what would you say to someone who's skeptical about the technology, given that you had a really positive experience with it?
Don't knock it till you try it. I've been skeptical of technology my whole life, but given this opportunity, I figured why not give it a shot. And we've been pleased with the results. It's encouraging to me finally getting a chance to sing again, just in a different way.
Dang.
That's really cool.
That's really cool. Let's talk about your family's reaction. What was their initial reaction once they heard your voice again for the first time in years? And was there anyone who was upset by it? And whose idea was it to do this?
Mary said I didn't know how much I missed his voice till I heard it again. The kids were tearing up. It's been special sharing with the people I love most. I have to give credit to Chris Lacey and the team at Warren Music for the idea. We'll see where it goes.
That's AI, Randy Travis, and I can just ask a question and he answers it. That's really cool.
Pretty amazing.
Now, in studio, the real Randy. Randy, good to see you, buddy. And Kyle Lenning's here. You've produced how many years with Randy? Do you know?
I need a calculator. Is it 40? It's almost 40. 85. We started working together in 85.
And so was it important to the entire unit that the unit stay together, even though this is a project that, again, isn't conventional at all? Your relationship has been in a very positive way, super conventional, right? Like you love each other, you've worked together, you've consistently done really good things. But here comes this unconventional, the use of AI to allow him to have his voice again. How did you feel when you were told about it?
Well, I'm just like Randy. I'm skeptical of just about everything. So I was a little. I just didn't know what to think of it. And it's one thing to have an idea, and then it's another thing to actually hear the result. But the main thing is that Randy and Mary, when given the opportunity, were positive about giving it a try, and so that's all I really needed to hear. If they were into doing it, then I would do everything I could to be helpful.
Randy's wife Mary is here too. Mary, the first time you heard it back in its entirety, I mean, this is your husband, this is the person that you love, and he's had something taken away from him, which was very important to him, his voice. But you're able to hear that again. What was the emotion you felt hearing Randy's voice singing again?
Well, I just burst out in tears. I mean, just because 11 years of not hearing that voice, which I think is the greatest voice in the world, and we had, with the idea of as it was developing, we had no idea how it would turn out. So when I heard it in its entirety and upon its completion, it was the greatest moment in the last 11 years.
Really?
Yes, everything I prayed for was just to hear his voice. And this is a different way of hearing his voice, but it's clearly his voice. So,
Randy, as a fan of yours, if I were to just hear that by itself, I would just think that is an older recording of your voice with more contemporary sound, obviously. But I would think that was your voice. Like, it sounds like you singing, not technology helping it. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. Kyle, did you learn, like, as a producer, like, what did you learn from this?
Gosh, I'm still learning from this. That's a really good question, Bobby. I just the fact that it works was astounding to me. I didn't know what to expect when I first heard it, and I just didn't. I'm sorry. I just, I was stunned when I first heard the playback, even though it wasn't 100% ready to go. But it was impressive.
The whole group's here. Randy's here. Randy's wife Mary. His longtime producer Kyle's here. So, Kyle, why this song specifically? Because it does sound like a traditional Randy Travis song, but also it sounds sonically like today's version of Randy Travis would sound like.
Well, this is a song that Jerry Douglas and I actually co-produced a number of years ago on an artist that we had started to develop, and the project just never really came to fruition. But I always liked the song, and I liked the track a lot, and it always one of the reasons I like the artist, James Dupre, was because he felt like Randy to me in terms of the way he phrased things and sang and stuff. And so this song had been sitting in my vault for quite a while. And when I got the model back from England to try the AI voice on it, I sat on it for 2 weeks because I just didn't know what to do with it. I wasn't sure what to do with it. And this song just kind of bubbled up from my memory of it. You know how some things, some projects will just haunt you, and this one kind of haunted me. I always loved this song, and I always felt like it would have been a good pitch for Randy at the time. So I took it out and did the work on it and put it in, and when his voice came out, it just became a whole nother level of just beauty to me, the way the song sounded and felt.
So I'm going to ask a real dumb guy question. Did you use old recordings of Randy's voice, like a lot of that you had saved of just his vocal, in order to make this?
Yeah, that's not a dumb question at all. Yeah, the way it was done was the folks in England that developed the software. I sent them 42 lead vocals from Randy's career, starting from stuff as early as 1985 when we first started working together.
Like no music, like dry?
Just
a vocal?
Just a clean vocal. And there were 42 different songs that I sent. And about 2 months later, after they got them, they called and said, "We think we have something for you to hear." And that's when they sent the model.
Mary, being Randy's wife, obviously you're aware of the feelings, good and not so great, about AI, but this is a very personal thing to you. If people are like, hey, we shouldn't do that with music, but here you go, you're actually watching it give your husband's voice back. Like, what do you say to people who go, we shouldn't do AI in music? What is your answer?
Well, I think right now AI is it's kind of walking a tight line because people are using it for the wrong reasons. And as of today, I think there's been 179,000 songs done or hours of AI done that have been put out there that are not with the permission of the
Sure.
artist or the publishing company or the label or anybody else. I think that's where the issue is. If someone is still here, like Randy is, and blesses it, I think that it's a whole different... I think it's a whole different wonderful thing. I don't know how else to put it. It's not fair to say that you can't do that because nobody has walked in Randy's shoes as far as being one of the greatest country artists of all time, vocalist. And then to lose that because of something like a stroke, for him to want to do music, continue to do music, I think is something that this is just, it's a good way to say this is a nice way to use AI, and there's good and bad and everything. And of course, when you're on the precipice of something new, then everybody has their doubts. But with Randy behind the whole thing and knowing that those are stems from Randy's songs that are actually singing the song, just in a different way, I think that people need to have kind of an open mind about the right way of using AI.
Randy, do you think you've listened to this over 100 times? This song over 100 times? Yeah? Me too. That's all I would play if it were me. I'd listen to it all the time. Have you secretly done other ones?
What?
Other songs? Like, I would have me doing all kinds of stuff, though, for my own personal fun. I'd be like, here's me doing Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would go crazy. I call Kyle in the middle of the night. We go do I'm a Little Teapot, Kyle. I know you got the stems. Let's go. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, we're going to put Randy Travis out rapping.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
There we go.
Kyle, just of your history of working with Randy over 40 years, what would you say your top three, no, it doesn't have to be commercial success, but favorite tracks that you've recorded with Randy? Like, that's still, it could be commercial success, it could be a story you have about it. Like, when recording with Randy, like, what are those tracks do you think about? Like, man, what a day that was.
Oh, geez. I mean, we've made so much music together, and part of the beauty of working with Randy all those years is we never made one recording that we finished that we didn't both love. That
was the rule.
That was the rule.
Yeah.
And actually, he had to love it. If I may not have loved it at first, but if he loved it, that was the main thing. But we just didn't make music that we didn't feel like was true to what he was about, what he wanted to do. If you wanted to talk about
like what'd you know was a hit? Like you recorded it and you're like, man, I'm not going to really say this much, but I know this song's a hit.
I've never known anything about what was going to be a hit. I mean, we've made records that we felt really good about, but the public always gets to vote, and you never know how that's going to turn out. So I'm always humbled by how that works. But I think one of the ones that sticks out a lot for me was a Skip Ewing song called "If I Didn't Have You," which I really thought was a unique piece of writing and perfect for Randy's voice. And really proud of how that one turned out. But, we could start on the first album and start naming off all the tunes.
Yeah, I'd have been like, Digging Up Bones, that's a hit. Take it to the bank. That's what I'd have said. That's a hit. Well, Three Wooden Crosses, that's a hit. I'd have been yelling out the door. That's a hit.
When we first heard that song, Paul Overstreet's song, when we first heard that song and he said exhuming, we both went, you got to record a song if they can get exhuming in it. So
Exhuming not used a whole lot
No.
in the country music vernacular.
No, that one.
Deeper Than the Holler, that comes to mind.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but it still comes to mind.
Yeah. Those were Paul Overstreet and Don Schlitz tunes, and they, brilliant songwriters.
But on the other hand, that one too.
Man,
That one comes
so
to mind.
good.
I'm just gonna sing your songs at you. Is that cool? This whole segment's now me just singing them back to you.
Don't forget I'm Gonna Love You.
Oh yeah, that's the
Well,
one you go to.
Immediately.
I really messed up by not going there first. I was just thinking it there. So, where do you, after this process, Kyle, being Randy's longtime producer and friend, what is your feeling on AI in music, and what do you think should be done, and how should it be regulated?
Oh, geez, I mean, that's a big question.
It is
for a little guy.
But you've been in it, officially, and in a capacity of being allowed by Randy and Mary, and so you have a knowledge now that not a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the future of it?
Well, this particular, the way we've been able to use it is very exciting to me, and I'm all in favor of it as long as we can make music that feels like Randy Travis when we're doing it. And I think that's the most important thing, is that there's something that feels authentic when you're doing it. It's a new thing for me. I'm learning all the time about the little things about it that sort of don't quite feel right or don't sound right. So working on that. I think it's going to be an interesting.
You mean sonically don't feel right, not like in your heart or gut?
No, I think it's not in your ears. I think it's in your gut. I think there's a thing, the audio can sound a certain way, but the way things sound isn't the way they feel. It's different. That's a different thing. So we're always trying to make sure that what we do feels right.
Mary, there were a lot of artists that, when I was watching the video piece that they aired, I saw Carrie, I saw Garth, Cole. There were a lot of artists showing their support. How important was that to get support of other artists that are also creating, who also will have to deal with this in some way eventually?
Well, I think it was important. Most of those, all of them were dear to Randy. And so I think Randy wanted to know exactly how they felt about it. So it was interesting to get their feedback and their reactions. And, of course, and many of them have texted us or emailed us or called to tell us what they thought of it. And it's all been positive, because I think the music world, it's competitive, but country music is so fraternal too. And those people have always wanted to hear Randy Travis again. He's, he laid the path for so many of those that have heard it. And so it was important to get their reaction, and we're glad we did. And I guess it reinforced what we did was a good thing to do. And I think it gives them something, hope, something to hang on to in case, they ever want to or need to.
Randy, you feel like a lot of your life's been given back to you?
Yeah.
It makes me feel good to see that it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And you deserve it. And who knows what's going to happen, right? This just happened. This just came out. This is much like the internet was when the internet busted out. And it's like, well, you can do a lot of bad things, but there's also some good that can be done. And, it was the Wild West, and they had to figure out what to regulate, what not, what you can't. And, we're going to go through this. It's cyclical with technology. And I think what you guys have shown is the good side. And I think that needs to be shown because there are a lot of great things, not just in music, that general technology is allowing us to do. And that if we embrace it in ways, it will actually help create a more positive, a more efficient, or give Randy his voice back. Yeah. And I love it for that. And so I'm super excited you guys came in. Congratulations. Heck of a vocal there, Randy. You laid a heck of a vocal down, buddy. It's awesome. Mary, great to see you.
Thank you.
A pleasure to hang out with you too, Kyle. So there he is. It's only Eddie and I in here, so we can't do a big clap. They kicked everybody else out.
I can clap, though.
By yourself?
Oh, I'll do it because this is so cool to me. Yes.
All right, there he is. Randy Travis, everybody. All right.
Yeah.
It's about